Y'all sitting up here talking, someone speaking to you that is a convicted felon. I served time in prison. That's what those numbers mean. The thing about that is, when you a child, I got this quote from one of my favorite movies, Love and Basketball. When you a kid, you always see the life that you want, but it never crosses your mind that it's going to turn out that way. So when I was a child, I played basketball, so I'm like, yeah, I want to be one of the first girls in the WNBA. From around here, that's what I want to do. So I worked hard. To get there. I went to college. I went to a D1 school, but not the D1 school that I wanted to go to, not those big UConns or Tennessee, something like that. I went to West Virginia, but it was still D1. So I graduated, did everything I had to do, and unfortunately I didn't make it there. So I went through my 20s, I had my jobs, in and out, 2-3 jobs. Now I'm in my 30s. Right now I'm 37. But I reached my 30s. I said, you know what, Nita, you need a career. And you never see the life that you want. You always see the life that you want, but it never turns out it's going to be that way. So I went law enforcement. And in that law enforcement, I was a CO. So I worked hard in what I did, right? I passed the academy. I hated it. I cried every week. I came home. I quit. I'm never going back. Mom, you can't make me go back. I'm never doing it. Either you're going to go back. Okay, Monday morning I'll be back. That's fine. I'll go back. I did my thing. I graduated. 8 months into my career, I had my nice car. I got a house. Got my career. I'm driving to work. Something as simple as passing a car on dotted lines. I pass it. The car decided to speed up on me. I look right, look left. A car comes right in front of me. Me and this car had a head-on collision. I got ejected from the car. I'm laying on my stomach, not realizing that my legs are broken or anything that's going on. I got airlifted to the hospital. I got there, collapsed lung, ruptured spleen, both of my legs are broken. I just missed my hips from an inch. That would have dictated a lot of the ways that I could walk. But when I woke up and I realized what was going on, I'm looking down, but I see my legs. So I'm like, I got my legs, what's wrong? So I see my doctor, right? So he's talking, but I couldn't really grasp the concept of what he's talking about because I had a lot of drugs and everything in me. So I looked at him and I was like, sir, am I going to be able to walk again? He said, yes, you'll be able to walk again. I said, good. You do your job and I'll do mine. And it sounded crazy at that time because I was drugged up. But he's looking at me and I'm looking at him. I'm looking at my legs and I'm like, I still have my legs. So it didn't register to me that walking was going to be something hard. I'm like, okay, I got my legs. Like, what is everybody in this hospital worried about? I have my legs. He said I'm going to walk. But I didn't realize the journey that I was about to take was about to be something that I would never think that I had to do or ever think that I could do. So I'm 3 months in the hospital. I'm getting surgery after surgery. He's trying to figure out ways to fix my legs. And throughout this whole time, I'm smiling. Everybody's coming to visit me. From what I was told, I always smiled. I always had this positive spirit. Because to me, I'm like, I'm going to walk, so I don't know why everybody's sad. What's wrong with y'all? I'm going to be 100%. So I get out, I go home. A couple months later, I get a call on the phone. Davita Hamilton, can you come down? Yes. What's up? This is New Jersey State Troopers. We want you to come down and give a statement. All right, that's fine. There was no drugs, there was no alcohol. I'm on my way to work. I'm a CEO. What could go wrong? I'm gonna tell my story. I didn't do anything wrong. I go and tell my statement, you're under arrest. Somebody has died in a motor vehicle accident. Excuse me? Yeah, we're taking you right here. Then he took me for a couple hours, but in my mind, I'm like, yo, I can't go to prison. I can't, what am I going to do? What am I going to do in prison? I didn't even have a fight in high school. I worked in a prison. I'm in a wheelchair. How can I defend myself? I mean, I can defend myself with my legs maybe a few months ago, but now I'm in a wheelchair, and you know, you don't got the confidence. You know, you want to stand up to somebody. It's not the same as when you have your independence. So they didn't get me right there, but I went once, pretty much a year and a half, and I'm trying to figure out what they wanted to do with me. They went from 5 years till we worked down, and they said, I pleaded 4 years guilty for public health and safety. So y'all may not know what that is, but it was equivalent to a traffic ticket. And I'm not downplaying what happened or that charge. But to think of going to prison for a traffic ticket is absurd. You know? So I did my thing. I had to go in there and I served time. And at this time, you know, my mom was in the hospital. I'm there with my dad and my older sisters. You know, our family, we real cool, we sticking together. My dad took me and he rolled me in a wheelchair. I remember, I never looked back. I said, all right, I'm gonna be out of here. I got this, y'all. So I tried to apply for ISP. The family wasn't having it. I was the perfect candidate, never got in trouble. In my life prior, everything was good. I got denied. Now I have to sit there. I don't know when I'm getting out. I don't know how it's gonna work, but I'm calling home every day. Can somebody get me out of this situation? I've never been in a situation where nobody could help me. Mom, Dad, now you're calling your parents. You 30, I'm at this time about 35 years old. Mom, help me. Dad, help me. What can y'all do? There's nothing you can do. There's nothing they could do. So I said, you know what? I'm not gonna make this in vain. I'm in here, I started working out because prior to me going to prison, I had a lot of rehabilitation. So I said, I'm gonna take these tools and I'm gonna use this here. And every day, from the time I got to prison to the time they gave me my release date, I worked my legs out every day to a point the women in the prison started coming to me and said, yo, if you can do it, I know I can do it. We're sitting here watching you work out every day. They're not knowing that I had this ambition, that I was a CEO, that I was running 6 miles a day before that. I never told them what I was, because I'm hearing the stories that they saying prior to me getting in there, they just jumped the CEO, because they was a CEO. So I'm like, you know, I'm just trying to be in there and just be cool. I was myself. So imagine going from one side of the bars to now sitting in the other side of the bars. And I had faith. I was brought up in church, Christian. You know, I had faith, and my mom was talking to me. But when I got in that situation, I was like, God, why me? What did I do? Before I got here, you know, I prayed, I fasted with my family. I did everything that I thought I could do. What are you doing? What am I here for? I was angry. I was angry at God. And I remember my mom was telling me, you know, Danita, God never leaves you or forsakes. Mom, I don't want to hear that. Danita, he puts no more in you. But Mom, don't say his name right now. Because if it was for him, I wouldn't be here. So what are you talking about? She said, okay, Danita, cry until you can't cry no more. I cried like a baby. Like a baby. And then I got off that phone and I said, you know what? Hey, Mom, I'm okay. It's okay. She said, all right, baby. I did my thing. Worked out, did everything I had to do. Got out of prison. My family was there to pick me up. I went in there in a wheelchair. I came out on a rollator. Walking to them. They looking at me, I'm looking at them. Couldn't be more happier, ever. And back in my life, you know, my mom had a heart transplant, so I know what God can do because I've been through it. But I couldn't live on the faith of my mom.
Right.
I had to have my own faith. I had my own journey that I had to go through. She couldn't tell me anything. I had to have my own mind. And that's what I did. I had my own mind. My life perspective changed. And that, you know, I had to talk to God to find myself, to give myself that peace, because knowing that you killed someone unintentional, like my brain is like, you have a body under your belt. You have a body. I don't even want to kill a spider. I'm scared. But a body under your belt, and you looking at me as a convicted felon. 7030508. That was my name. I wasn't Danita Hamilton. I wasn't the person that scored 1,000 points in high school. I wasn't the person that got a bachelor's degree in education. They didn't care about none of that. They care about those numbers and that letter at the end. So I'm sitting here to tell y'all this. Life gives you these experiences. And you either going to lay down or you're going to get up. And it's easier to lay down. It's easier to quit. And it's harder to keep going. But on that other side is glorious. When you reach that. So when I reached that, now I'm standing here today with y'all, from not moving at all to having over 30-something surgeries, to going into a wheelchair, to going into a rollator, to now standing up in front of you with a cane. Come on! So that I can inspire somebody that doesn't matter whatever you go through, keep going. Because on that other side is glorious. It's going to be in rainy days. We're going to have them challenging days. They're not bad because we wake up in the morning, so it's never bad, it's blessed. But you're going to have them challenging days. But don't dwell in those challenging days. Pick yourself up. Knock it off. Go into the next day with grace, with gratitude. I know I'm sitting here and both of my legs, I have no bone in my lower body. It's metal. And I'm walking on metal. And that doctor didn't know how or what was going to happen. But that day I told him, well, you do your job and I do mine. I meant that. And I know I was kind of fuzzy, but I know what I was talking about, because I know from day one, just me being a competitor, me being an athlete, I was never someone to give up. So this was almost like I was competing again, and now I'm competing with myself. So let me see how far you can go, Danita. So like I'm saying, I got another quote for you, and I'm gonna leave it here. Excuses Excuses are tools of the incompetent that leads to the monument of nothingness. Leave yourself with no excuses. You wake up and just try to do what you need to do every day to make yourself a better you every day. Stop competing with everybody on social media, Instagram, Facebook. Compete with yourself. Because that person in the mirror is the person that you're really dealing with. My name is Nita Strong. And they don't call me Nita Strong because I was just strong. They called me Nita Strong. They called me Nita Strong is because I had these setbacks and to continue to keep going. To remain strong in everything that I went through. So I'm letting y'all know this today. Doesn't matter what you're going through, but you can get through it. You go through what you go through.